Welcome back to the fastest car in the world challenge in automation. This time we're playing from 1960 to 1970 and try to improve our record speed, which is currently standing at 487 kilometers an hour. I'm back in the game now, and first of all I want to apologize. I was too stupid to set up a microphone and the whole audio recording thing, so we won't have any in-game sound and just me doing a voiceover after the recording of the video. So now in the game we basically see that the economy is really in a steep decline, but last time I managed to pull the company out of a big hole where we even required an emergency loan. So financially it looks like we're somewhat stable. We still have some pre-orders in the books. I was able to raise the margins. And now it's time for the second generation car to be facelifted. So we won't produce the record-breaking car any longer, but go for two more reasonable trims again, one for the supercar market and one for the convertible sports and convertible supermarket. Therefore, the first action is to revise the reasonable engine we put into the last series production car. That's a 4-liter V12. It initially had 240 horsepower. We try to get a bit more out of it, but still stay on the reasonable side, so definitely power outputs you would have seen in realistic cars back in the day. So when tuning the production car, it's basically again about desirability and affordability. Therefore, I first pull down all of the quality spam, put the quality sliders to reasonable levels again to get the affordability up, while still tuning the car to be reasonable. Therefore, we then get a decent score in the supercar market and hope that we will be able to sell it at decent margins. So supercar is done, and now it's time to add another trim, the convertible version. Basically with the same focus, as the convertible supercar market is not as large as the supercar market as of now. I focus on a bit better affordability, a bit lower prices, mostly in the interior section, but the rest is in general basically the same. That also helps to keep the engineering times and engineering cost low. We want to be efficient in doing that. So looking at the market screen just briefly, you could see that there was a big difference in sales numbers because the convertible price was really low, the supercar price was quite high. So always think about your pricing, think about your margins. So currently my focus is not expanding factories but expanding margins. Just to be on the safe side, the smaller your factories are, the more easy it is to react on economic changes. So it's quite easy to turn down production and just still have a decent margins and being able to be effective. When it comes to engineering the car, something around 3 years is what I'm going for. The cost is already quite low of this facelift, so 30 months is my goal as of now, and the rest of it is just revising the factories, nothing special in there. Still, I already have an engine factory, which is really nice to have. I can now improve the tooling and automation levels in that factory to make engines a bit cheaper. Now that we actually have some money in the bank. So that will definitely also help in the long term. So with the low wages I'm paying, I have slight quality issues and therefore slowdowns even at a QA threshold below 80%. It's probably not optimal. Probably it would be time to raise the wages and just see the effect it has on the quality distribution. I think there's a better option to then setting it up at 50% wages. So yeah, but my first focus of course was keeping costs down. If you see the big picture, it's probably not the most efficient way to keep the costs down. General profits are looking excellent though. Engine factories would be overworked if we run at full shifts, but I don't plan to run the car factory at more than 2 shifts, and then the engine factory is running at 2.5, 2.6, so that's fine, but I would definitely wear down the factory quite fast. So the estimated factory shifts are limited to 1.5 as of now. We would require more, so I of course enlarge margins as the prices were completely wrong, and I aim for something around 1 shift. Therefore, if I aim for 1 shift, I can go down to 0.5 if the economy is shit and turn it back up to 2 if it's really doing well. So that's the car setup. I know the sensible car is maybe not the most interesting, but it's very important because this is what gets money into the bank, and this is what will finance the next record-breaking car. Don't forget to save, of course, and then we're ready to go. So the car is finished. I still have a bit of stock left over, so we didn't completely run out of cars, which is fine, but still we will sell them off pretty quickly. So let's see how it does. We made a bit of we lost a bit of money during engineering the facelift, the facelift of the Strato, but still it looked fine. We still have 18 million in the bank, and let's just see how this thing is going, but also a quick look at R&D. In the meantime, I have turned up those levels already quite a bit, mostly in the body part and bottom end part. Turbocharger, as we see, is in 1975, the official unlock date, but with our tech pool of 7, we'll get it in 68, and that's where we will engineer the new engine facelift of the turbo car. But until then I already have time to prototype the engine and the car. Now that our production car is running, we can prototype the record-breaking car again, and then have 2 years to build the final record-breaking car for the 70s with turbo and everything fully tuned. So that's the project for the prototype car. We have 66 months until January 68, so that should be fine. Project cost of 23 million is something we can easily do, hoping for good sales of the new series production model. So not necessary to take out a loan in this case. So then it's time for the truth for the Strato and see how well it really does. Currently we're at 6 months of pre-orders, which is decent, and only went down very slightly. We made quite nice profits, so again things are looking good, and we can now try to balance again our income against our expenses, which means in the midterm also to raise R&D levels and maybe raise marketing levels. So there we are in 1968. Basically I've spent all the money I earned. The goal was not to earn money, but to spend it on research, already spending more than 2 million. And now it's time for designing the turbocharged engine, which is a pain in the neck. Servos are really difficult right now. And yeah, let's see what we can get out of this one. So there we are at around 3.5 kilo horses. We had a few issues with torque. So the goal really is here to limit torque outputs and to still achieve high power outputs, which means trying to get it to rev. We are using therefore the 16.2 liter alu engine, which was a new family with prototyped for this new model. And currently it's tuned down to 13.8 liters, so there's still room for expansion for the next decade, so we can definitely reuse that engine if we can fit it somewhere else. So then let's check out how fast this one can actually go. We see that the power curve of course is not optimal, so it's really important to set up gearing in a proper way so that we don't land in any hole of the power band when shifting. So very low spacing numbers is the way to go. We already see that again we are grip limited at 500 kilometers an hour, so it's time to turn up the wing and see where we end. So it's time to get a feel for engineering times and then see if we can get a bit more quality out of the car, or have to save a bit of time. So here we are looking for around 22 months. I turn up the sliders a tiny bit, as the important quality sliders are already at 15 for the car. For the engine I have again more problems to fit it into the time frame I have. Aspiration is really cheap, so even though I'm using a new technology I didn't have before, I'm still able to get the turbo working quite fast. The issue is that I invested time, of course, in bottom end, top end and fuel system. From those, I think the fuel system is the least important for the final power output, and or the ratio between engineering time and gain is higher. So this is what I reduce first, and then see that I can still optimize the power band so that I still have around 1000 RPM where the engine is on boost. So the general setup is the same. We built it in a tiny factory, again with contract engine. The overall profit outlook is pretty amazing. So I targeted the hypercar market, as we actually have one or two buyers in there. The engine is still making up for more than 50% of the overall car cost. And there we have it, our 13.6 liter quad turbo. What a beauty it is. So yeah, it makes 3,500 and a few horsepower, while still staying above 5 reliability as always. I actually went for mechanical fuel injection. That was perfectly viable, and you can go for a bit higher boost than on carburetors there. If you take a look at the demographics, you see that it's not really scoring very well in the hypercar market. Mostly that's due to the suspension setup, so that's still something to fix so that we can make sure to sell at least one car. And there we are at the forecast screen. Even at a cost of more than 200,000, I get a projection of around 4 cars per month, which is insane, given the fact that it's actually not a good car. It's just a fast car. Here we see also four buyers in the hypercar market, so that's basically what we get. Maybe we could even sneak 1 or 2 from the luxury premium, even though it's not luxurious, but at least it's expensive, and probably the most expensive car on the overall car market. So the question is, can I actually get some margin from this car? Yeah, I don't know. It's not what makes the difference. That's the mass production model makes the difference. And there we go, with a project cost of 17 million. I can do this on my own without the help of a bank again. And the Meso is ready to be engineered and produced. So we're in November, things are looking good. We have sold 2 of the new version. We have also sold 5 prototypes, or we have sold prototypes in the meantime continuously, 151. But yeah, the new model has been sold, so this is what we will now test on the salt pan. Still at 3 deliveries, 2 pre-orders a month. Pre-orders will probably go up once we sell off the old record-breaking car. The prototype, I mean. And now it's January, and time to save, time to hit the company museum again for the official test run. And there it goes, 3,500 horsepower. Watch as the driver has to lift even at more than 500 horsepower when the torque kicks in, when the boost kicks in, and it finishes at 596 kilometers an hour. As I said, I tried really hard to go above 600, but that will have to wait until next decade. The score table shows us that we are at 884 points right now, so we went from 666 to more than 200 points above that, so the turbos really have pushed us along. 900 points should definitely be doable now. 1000 points, I don't know, we will see. If you liked what you saw, if you learned something new, then please consider a like or to subscribe to my channel. Thank you all for watching, and see you again next time.